Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the BSGL, and today we're going to do something entirely different. We got some big-time BSGL updates for you guys. Starting from this episode on out, we are going to be going through a month at a time. So in this episode, we will be going all the way from January 6th to February 2nd. So we are going to cover the whole month of January in this episode. We're going to do a game per week, so it'll be 4 games an episode, which I feel like is a good amount to make the videos not too long and not too short. Still get a good amount of action in there. So that is how we will be doing that for the rest of the season, and then from then on, if you guys want to see more BSGL, so we'll be doing these 4 weeks right here up until this Wranglers game, all the way until February 2nd. And then the next episode we'll do 3 games from February 3rd all the way to 20th. And then after that, we'll of course cover the All-Star break in a real quick episode, and then we'll do these 4, and then pretty much the last 4. Well, it's pretty well worked out really well. And then that'll be the end of the season. We'll head into the playoffs, and then we'll have all sorts of off-season rules and everything, and I'll go over all that when we get there. But first, we need to look at the December Player of the Month. December Player of the Month, because we did not get to see that. As I don't think we looked. Now we looked at Player of the Week last week, but for the month of December, Achille Antonov wins his 2nd Player of the Month, and Lamar Shelton wins for the Western Conference. So congrats to both of those guys. His Rookie of the Month is won by James Long, the point guard for the Shift. We saw him pop off in a game, and Cade Cunningham of the Portland Pioneers. As we can take a quick look at award races, I think this is the first time we've been able to see these, as Achille Antonov, Lamar Shelton, Jean Francis, Akibono Shang, and Doug White are our 4 MVP candidates right now, as all of them are centers except for Lamar Shelton. As then for Rookie of the Year, we've got Rich Mack, Stephen Morris, Trent Beretta, James Long, and Cade Cunningham. Some pretty elite company right there. All those guys are pretty good. 6th Man of the Year, we've got Terrell Winters, Doyle Woolridge, Evan Mobley, Levi Alexander Walker, and Dante Carter. And then for Defensive Player, we've got Stephen Morris, Jerry Foster, Lou Fong, Owen Bradley, and Jean Francis as well. So of course, there's not going to be a Most Improved because this is everybody's first year in the league, because it is our inaugural season. The only thing I have left in this little intro is don't forget to submit a prospect. Please submit a prospect. I mean, the more detail, the better. I want to have some people that submitted prospects in this next season. I think that'd be very cool, having you guys in the draft and everything. But I need people to submit prospects to be able to put them in. So be sure to do that. And without further ado, I'll send you right into Game 1. Our first game this week is between the Indianapolis Shift and the Memphis Knights in Memphis, as the Shift will start with the ball. First possession here for the Knights, as we see Ivan Heinzen go in and slam one with the left hand on the inside. Now it's 4-0 Knights. Here's Foster. He's going right at Heinzen, and he goes right around him. Horrible defense from the big man there, as Foster finds 2 points. As here's a big-time block from the Shift, as here's Little going the other way, and Little gets big and goes up and throws it down. So it is now 4-6 Knights. Here's Heinzen inside, fade away, and it is good, looking like Dirk Nowitzki down there. 4-10 Knights now. Here's Coleman going in as he drives and gets the foul, and 1 Coleman as his free throw is good. 7-10 now. Moving on later, 9-12. Here's Jennings going inside and throwing one down. Now down just 1. Here the Shift again on offense, going up. How about that slam? Putting it down to a 1-point game later into the second quarter now. Here's Foster getting Heinzen from behind. Shift moving it the other way. Here's Coleman. He goes up mid-range. No good. Cousins puts it back. A big-time play and slam there. So here's Foster inside as he gets 2 more. And the Shift are running away with this one, now up 8 into the second quarter, as there's Jennings again, slamming another one down. 10-point lead right before the half. Knights need something to fall. Here's a 3, and it's good with just 0.2 seconds left. It's now a 6-point game. Into the third quarter, here's Foster getting the foul on Zigaranovich, as he will get the and 1 and hit the free throw, putting it to a 9-point game. Later in the third, it's a 5-point game. Here's Long. He's been hot for a long time now as he hits a 3. Here's Heinzen inside, another big-time left-handed slam, as it's just a 6-point game. Knights, look at Heinzen, little shimmy fade. He gets another one to fall. He is on fire. Here he is again, much too little in the post as Heinzen goes up, and 2 more easy points for the big man. 43-37, they're still going inside to Heinzen, and he's just going to continue to score. 4-point game. Here's Long going inside as he goes up and throws one down in the face of Sneed. So it is now just a 6-point game. As here's, I don't even know who that was, goes up and puts it in over Foster. That's Richardson. He gets the free throw to go. Couldn't even really see what was happening on that play. So here's the shift throwing one up to Long, as nobody had any idea where that one was going, and Long came out of nowhere to throw it down. As here he is on the inside again, putting in 2 more and giving his team a 3-point cushion. Right here at the end of the third, here's Long going around his man, going up and throwing another one down. This little man has some serious hops. As here's the Knights going outside to Heinsohn, and Heinsohn pulls up, and he hits the long 2. Could have made it a 3 with just a simple step back, but instead it is a long 2. As here he's getting a huge block to start the 4th quarter. As you can tell, Heinsohn wants this win, and here's Bohannon going at the rim. He gets fouled and 1, and he would miss the free throw. So now later in the game, here's Shift down 3 as Long hits the nice layup going around his man. As here's Heinsohn inside. Foster gets him from behind. Foster with a huge block from behind. Now here's the Knights. Cousins. His hook shot will fall. 1-point game for the Shift. Here's Heinsohn inside. Goes up. He hits it over Coleman. Back to a 1-point game for the Knights. Long, 36 seconds remain. His mid-range shot. Missed it. Foster rebound. Goes up. And he gets it to fall. So a 1-point lead for the Shift. As here come the Knights, and Heinsohn's way too open. And they throw him the lob, and a 360 slam from Heinsohn. What a time to put some style on. As here's a 1-point game. Long has the ball. He goes up and tops the dunk from Heinsohn, bringing it down to his hip and then extending for the slam. 8 seconds left now. Knights need a bucket to win. Here's a jumper from Zigaranovich. What was that? He missed it. Could have held for last shot or given it inside to Heinsohn, but he missed. So here's Long, and his first free throw is, that's Coleman. His first free throw is out. So the Knights have to go the length of the court in 1.6 seconds. A 3 would win it. Zigaranovich for the win. Missed it. Zigaranovich misses the extremely long 3, and then the Shift will escape Memphis with a win. So here we are checking out some box scores for this entire week. The first week in January 1st, the Buzz go to the Wolfpack and defeat them by 8, as we're just going to get a quick look here at the box scores. Not going to do much with it. We see Alan Smith put in 17 points. And DeAndre Johnson put in 25 and 15. Nice game from him, as there was quite a few double-doubles for the Buzz. For the next game, the Cobras go to the Apollos and defeat them by 13. So the Apollos have lost like 10 games in a row, or not 10, like 6 games in a row now or something like that. Hayden Oakley, 26 and 13. A nice game from him. Nevin Stone put in 46, 12, and 8. Really nice game from him. So he led his team to the victories. The Royals defend home court and defeat the Blaze by 1. As Rich Mack puts in 33. Kenny Dimes with a triple-double with 17 assists. And B.J. Riley put in 43 in their losing effort. Moving on to the 7th, there was nothing. So then on the 8th, the Moose defend home court and beat the Sharks by 29. Vernon Farmer put in 35 points, 10 rebounds. Cy Gilbert with 26 points, 13 rebounds. Nice game from him. Banks had a double-double as well. Ellis Jr. led the way for the Sharks with 20, and Quentin Pope had a nice 18. After that, the Brigade went to Utah and defeated the Buzz by 6. As they're back to 7-7, DeJuan Jones led the way with 20 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. DeAndre Johnson, my bad, and then DeJuan Jones had 24 and 14. That's my fault. Then the Townhawks went to the Enforcers and got beat by 9. Stephen Morris led the way for the Enforcers, 27 points, 18 rebounds. And Will Tress was down here with just 6 points. We need more production out of that little point guard. Xander Myers just was 17, not what kind of what we're used to seeing out of him. The Pioneers went to the Baltimore Hustlers and defeated them by 16. A really nice win for Portland. Baltimore was really hot there for a second. Nash Bar led the way for the Hustlers with a nice 19-point game. As we see, Duncan was down here with 11 points and 23 rebounds, a double-double, but we need some more scoring out of him. Cunningham led the way for the Pioneers with 20, along with Denzel Spears with 20 as well. And on January 9th, the Wolfpack lose again as they fall by 9 to the Legends in Atlanta. Reggie George led the way, 18 points, 15 rebounds. Taylor behind him with 18 and 11. For the Wolfpack, Alan Smith led the way with 18 and 9, and that was pretty much all that they had. As the Pandas went to New York and barely escaped with a W as they beat the Skyliners by 1. John Francis led the way with 29 points, 22 rebounds, and 8 assists. Nice game from him. And Midas Khan led the way for his team with 25, 9, and 10, just a rebound away from a triple-double, as Sun Ming put in 20 as well. Now for the game we just saw, the Shift ended up winning by 3. Ivan Heinsohn's 40 points, not enough to get the home win, as we see that James Long led the way for the Shift with 41 points, and Foster had 16 and 14. Now for the 10th, the Titans defeat the Pandas by 17. Right after the Pandas' nice W in New York, they fall to Detroit. As Min Chiwanga had 31 points, led the way for the Titans, and Doug White was down here with 13 and 14. Midas Khan led the way for the Pandas yet again, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. A nice game from him, but it was not enough to get them the W, as Alexander Walker had a double-double as well, along with Houston down there. The Goblins defended home court against the Sharks as they defeat them by 19. Jameson led the way with 30 points, 12 rebounds in their winning effort, and Whitney had a nice double-double as well. Wade Cage with 23, 9, and 5. For the Sharks, Tatum put in 20 and 7. Ellis Jr. with 18 and 10, a nice double-double, and Quentin Pope is down here with 14. The Bison went to the Royals and took an L as the Royals get another home win. Rich Mack with 35 more points and 11 rebounds. Kenny Dimes with 19 points and 17 rebounds, living up to his name with all those assists. Lamani Bates led the way for the Bison with 33, and then Lu Feng was down here with a nice double-double, 13 points and 12 rebounds. The White Whales fall by 15 at home to the Pioneers, as O'Hay led the way with 17, and Boyd was down here with just 9 and 10, and Hefflinger had 10 and 15. As in for the Pioneers, R.J. Miller led the way with 19 points, Cunningham with 18, and we see that Spears was down here with only 6 points but 16 rebounds. As going into the 11th, we see that the Cobras took a hard L to the Predators by, what is that, like 42, I think? Don't really do my quick math. Snyder led the way for the Predators with 23. Kevin Ball had 22 and 12, and there were quite a few guys in double figures, as you can see. As for the Cobras, Evan Stone led the way with 27 in their losing efforts, as they took a very hard L there. As then the Bulldogs went to the Sharks and lost in San Diego by 9. Quentin Pope led the way in the winning effort with 25 points, 12 rebounds, and Zagato down here with that double-double. For the Bulldogs, Jelly Harper led the way with 27, Beretta had 23, and then Armstrong had 22 and 11, a nice double-double from him. As we go into the last day of the week, the Flamingos went to the Royals, and finally somebody beat the Royals at home, as Rich Mack put in another 34 points, 10 rebounds. Kenny Dimes at 24 and 15, another double-double from him with rebounds. Rogers had 21 as well, and for the Flamingos, Kelly Antonoff put in another triple-double, and it was enough to get them the win, as Kanye Jordan had 18 as well. For the Huskies, they went to the Hustlers and defeated them again, so the Hustlers kind of been streaky all season now that they're on a losing streak, as Babcock led the way for the Hustlers with 18 points. Not a whole lot to see here. Nashbar only had 12, and Duncan had 10 and 14. He was pretty well kept off the boards for his standards, as Justice led the way. He hit that nice buzzer beater earlier in the season. He had 26. Owen Bradley behind him with 21, and Raven was down there with a double-double along with Boomshay. As then the Wranglers went to the Brigade, and the Brigade win yet again, as McKenna put in 31 points. DeJuan Jones at 26 and 11. Nice game from the Brigade as they pick up the 14-point W. Lamar Shelton with 36, 17, and 5. Not a bad game from him, and Outlaw had 21 and 9 as well, as long as Witherspoon with 20, but they still ended up losing. As the Blaze went to Indianapolis and beat the Shift by 12, as Towns led the way for the Shift this game with 20. James Long had 17 points, 14 rebounds, and Foster had 17, but they do lose behind B.J. Riley's 41 points and 10 rebounds, enough to get them the W, and Pitt Snoggle had a nice double-double as well. That will do it for this week of box scores. So let's see if we can get a quick Player of the Week update. Player of the Week this week was Achille Antonov and B.J. Riley, both won for their respective conferences. So good stuff from both of them as we will head into our Week 2 game. Our second game for the month of January will be between the Sacramento Shift and the Portland Pioneers, as the Sting will start with the ball. As here come the Pioneers already on a fast break. Here's Hickson, mid-range shot, won't go. Here's Zelli with the rebound, and he puts it up. That's Denzel Spears getting his first 2 points of the game. Here's Cade Cunningham, the rookie, pulling up from 3 on the break, and he hits it as the Pioneers are already up 7, now 9-0. Here's Ronald being found for 3. His shot from the top of the key will fall, as it is now 9-3. Williams, his first touch of the game. He goes at the rim right around Spears and throws it down, hangs on for a little extra emphasis. As here's Douglas inside. He's going to get a nice pass, and he throws one down. So here's Kinsey finding, well, I can't even see what his name is, but he hits the 3 to make it back down to a 3-point game. So some good shooting from both teams here early. Here's Villa getting clobbered. He whips it out to Williams, not known for his 3-point shooting, but when he's that wide open, you got to take it, and it's 17-17. As here's a big man going right down the lane as he gets it to fall. Hickson again with a steal. He goes all the way for the slam. 4-point lead, now just 3. Here's Ronald on the inside. No good. Williams, rebound, goes up, gets blocked, goes up again, misses, goes up a third time, and finally gets it. How about the effort on the inside from Brian Williams? Just look at that move, going inside, doing all sorts of Pump fakes and fakes, finally whipping it out to RJ, whoops, Miller for 3. As here's Williams again, as that looked like that went in, but they are going to say no basket, as he hits 2 free throws, and that shot will not count for some reason, as he almost dunked on Spears yet again. As there was a nice slam from a Pioneer player. Is now into the second half. How about the pass to Lyons from Williams? As he goes up and tomahawks one down. As here's Spears looking around, goes out to RJ, another 3. Way too open, and he is too good a shooter to be left that wide open. Cunningham finding Spears, top of the key, just inside the line, and that will just be 2 as they lead by now 11. Off the inbound, they find, what is that, Kretschy, whatever his name is. He gets the N1, doesn't hit the free throw. Spears the other way. Another mid-range jumper for him. His is good. 10-point lead for the Pioneers. This whole team is so good at shooting. Williams in the mid-range gets one to fall to put it back down to 10. But we are already late into the 4th, and it is not looking good for the Sting, especially after this 3-point basket from Hickson, as they're up 13 now. Williams tries to find somebody inside, and that pass got tipped by a Pioneer player. That's Shaw. And then it rolls in, so sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. As here's Williams getting another basket with just in garbage time, as the Pioneers take this one by 9 pretty handily all game, and their shooting continues to be lights out. So here we are checking out some box scores for week 2, starting with the 13th. The Wranglers took an L at home to the Cobras. Lamar Shelton had 37, 13, and 8. It was not enough for them to get the win. Outlaw had 28 as well. They lost by 6 in this one, as Stone put in 29, and Dyson was down there with a nice double-double. After that, the Shift defended home court against the Apollos and won by 18. It was a nice win from the Shift. James Long leads us away again with 31. Cousins down here with a double-double along with Foster. For the Apollos, Hayden Oakley led the way. He's been the bright spot for their struggling team all season. 33 points, 12 rebounds. Not a whole lot else going there for the Apollos. The Wolfpack pick up just their 5th win on the season as they go to Memphis and win by 23. Baxter led the way for the Knights with 21, and Heinsohn had 16 and 10 in their losing effort. Allen Smith led the way for the Wolfpack, 27 points, 10 rebounds, and Cartwright had a double-double along with Leonard down there towards the bottom. After that, the Bulldogs went to Utah and got a nice win by 26, as DeAndre Johnson's 25 and 14 was not enough for the Buzz. As we see for the Bulldogs, Armstrong led the way with 32, DJ Jolly Harper with 27, Trent Beretta with a double-double. The Blaze went to the White Whales and defeated the White Whales in Washington, as the White Whales are on a little bit of a skid here after picking up their 12th win. Guerrero led the way for the White Whales with 24, Boyd had a nice double-double, and that was about all they had for them. For the Blaze, BJ Riley led the way with 31. He's been a beast all season, and then Pittsnoggle had another double-double. You can pretty well rely on him to get one of those every night. The Pioneers defeated the Moose earlier in the week by 20. As they went to Minnesota and picked up the win. Hanlon led the way for the Moose with 17 points. Gilbert had a double-double along with Farmer in their losing effort. For the Pioneers, R.J. Miller led the way with 26 points. And then we see that Denzel Spears is down here with a double-double, but not with points, as he only had 9. Pandas Huskies now. The Pandas went to Toronto and got waylaid by the Huskies. As Owen Bradley had 34 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. Nice game from him. Justice had 23 as well. And Boomshay had a nice double-double along with Thornburn down here. For the Pandas, Midas Kahn's 23 was not enough to get it done, as Alexander Walker had a double-double as well. The Bulldogs went to Oklahoma City and got beat by the Bison. So we see Lu Feng had a double-double, 25 points, 10 rebounds. Lamani Bates with 25 as well. They led the way in the win. DJ Jolly Harper with 21 for the Bulldogs. Armstrong and Beretta both with 17, and Beretta had that nice double-double. As we go into the 15th, the Enforcers go to the Skyliners and take an L by 6. Not a team you want to be losing to. The Skyliners only have 4 wins on the year. So we see John Francis led the way, 23 and 20 with for the Skyliners, a nice game from him. And for the Enforcers, Stephen Morris, who's been their leading scorer all year, leads the way with 22 and 17. Sanders had a nice double-double here, and Will Trust only had 12. The Pandas went to Baltimore and beat the Hustlers, who have been on a huge losing streak here in January after a great December. As Babcock led the way for the Hustlers, 21 points. Abdul Wahad only had 20. Duncan had 17 and 20. And then Natchbar was down here with 16. As for the Pandas, Majia Ba led the way with 41. That's got to be a career high for him. And then Midas Kahn had a triple-double behind him as they pick up the win. The Blaze win yet another game this week as they go to Detroit and win by 3. As Doug White led the way for the Titans with 26 points, 14 rebounds. A nice game from him. Moncrief and Manchunguana both put in 22 as well. For the Blaze, BJ Riley led the way. 34, 8, and 9. A really good game from him. Johnson with 19 behind him. And Pitt Snoggle down here getting his 10 rebounds and only 4 points. The White Whales then had to go to San Antonio to play the Brigade, and they lose yet another game. They're now 12-9. As Woodard led the way for the Brigade with 20. DeJuan Jones is down here with 12 and 15. A nice game from him. M. Boyd led the way with 23. As we see Hefflinger, who's usually pretty good, was all the way down here with just 4 points and 14 rebounds, 2 for 15 from the floor. That's not what you want to see out of him. As the Moose defended home court against the Huskies in Minnesota and got a nice 8-point win. Banks led the way with 33 points, Cy Gilbert behind him with 22 and 16, and then Farmer with 22 as well. As we see that Kenny Justice led the way for the Huskies with 20 points, Owen Bradley had 18, and then Boomshay with a nice 17 and 11 rebound double-double. Going into the 16th in the game we just saw, the Pioneers end up winning by 16. Brian Williams led the way for the Sting, 29 points, 17 boards. Carson with 20. And then there's some others down there with a lot of rebounds. Lions had 22 boards, but only 6 points. Cunningham led the way for the Pioneers with 23. Hickson had 16 and 15. Nice game from him. Along with Spears had a double-double as well. A lot of guys in double figures there for the Pioneers. The White Whales went to Dallas after their loss and lost yet another game. Lamar Shelton led the way with 27 points, 15 rebounds for the Wranglers. Outlaw was behind him with 23. They've been a dynamic duo all season. Del Negro led the way for the White Whales, 21 points. M. Boyd with 10 and 10, and Hefflinger down here with 10 and 15. O'Hay put on 10 as well. It was not enough to get them the win. As we go into the 17th, the Legends go to the Flamingos and take a 15-point loss. A nice win for the Flamingos. Akili Antonov, not the dominance that we're used to seeing, but still had 25, 9, and 6. A very good game by anybody else's standards. Kanye Jordan put in 19 as well, along with 12 assists. So he was a nice addition in this game, as Reggie George grabbed 27 rebounds and 22 points in their losing effort. Reddish and Baumgartner behind him with 15s each. After that, the Skyliners went to the Huskies and took a 21-point L in Toronto, as Owen Bradley picked up 29 points, along with Kenny Justice's 27, and Jackson had a nice double-double as well. As for the Skyliners, John Francis led the way yet again, 22 points, 15 rebounds, and Dambrauskas had 17 as well. Couldn't really remember how to say his name then for a second. The Wolfpack pick up a pretty big upset in Brooklyn as they defeat the Cobras on the road. Baja led the way for the Cobras with just 23, and that was pretty much the only highlight there for the Cobras. Stone had 18. But for the Wolfpack, Alan Smith led the way with 19 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Cartwright and Leonard both had double-doubles down here, and Funderburk had 17. So a really big win for the Wolfpack there. As we go into our last day on the week, last day or second to last day, as the Wranglers pick up yet another win against the Royals at home. A nice homestand here for them. Shelton led the way with 28, White with 21, as Outlaws down here with 15. Witherspoon had a nice double-double. Really good team effort from the Wranglers. Rich Mack led the way for the Royals again, 26 points, 15 rebounds, 25 for Weber, and 23 for Kenny Dimes, but all those points was not enough to get them the win. As next we go to the Apollos and Predators, as the Predators fall to the Apollos in Orlando. Hayden Oakley led the way with 24 points, 10 rebounds. Nice game from him. Hart behind him with 22 as well. As for the Predators, Kevin Ball had 25 points and 10 assists, but it was not enough to get them the win, as Dandridge had a nice double-double down here as well. The Townhawks went to the Sharks and took a small L by 32, as they allowed 141 points. Quentin Pope led the way with 24, Ellis Jr. with 23, and quite a few guys in double figures behind them. As for the Townhawks, Xander Myers had 24 and 12. He's been shaky all season. Somerton had 23, and Green had 16 and 11. A nice double-double from him. As then the Moose go to the Bison and take a 26-point L in Oklahoma City. It's not what you'd like to see if you're a Moose fan. Towers with 27 points, Lamani Bates with 19, and Lou Fung with yet another double-double, along with Davis Reitzel down here. All good games from the Bison. Hanlon led the way for the Moose with 19, Gilbert with 19 and 13 behind him, Banks with 18, and Farmer with 15 and 15, a double-double. The Brigade defeated the Blaze by 24 in Arizona, as the Blaze look like they've been shaky all season as well. B.J. Riley with another 27-point game. He's been up around 30 all year. As DeJuan Jones led the way to victory for the Brigade, as he had 22 and 18. McKenneth behind him with 21, and some other guys in double figures. As that concludes Week 2 box scores. As that, we need to look at the Player of the Week. The Player of the Week for this week was Stephen Morris and Rich Mack, both won for their respective conferences, so nice jobs from them. Neither one were a created quote-unquote superstar, even though some of these guys that I've created were not anywhere near superstar level, but still nice play from them. Into our third game for the month of January. We are in New York to watch the Skyliners play the Blaze. So New York already has an early 2-0 lead as Dambrauskas gets a block here as he whips it up to Richards, who throws it down with a right hand. Early lead here for the Skyliners. Here's Dambrauskas again, throwing it into John Francis, gets Pitsnoggle on the pump fake, and then goes up and puts it in. 6-0 New York early. Here's B.J. Riley, step back in the mid-range and has a response here for this offensive attack from the Skyliners. 4-7 now. How about the lob into Copeland? That was a long pass that hung in the air for a little while. Here's Copeland again putting in a slam as the Blaze lead now by 1. Here's Richards. He's getting found for 3 off the screen, and he nails the 3. And it is back to a 2-point lead for the Skyliners. Skyliners now up 1. Way too easy on the inside for John Francis as Alabaster had no chance. As here's Alabaster on the break after John Francis gets subbed out, and he throws one down as here he is again getting 2 more points and 1 as he will hit the free throw. Other way now for the Skyliners, down 2, or up 2. Here's Duhan for 3 as he makes it a 5-point lead. We are not usually used to the Skyliners playing this well. How about another lob to Copeland? He may have to be a dunk contest player or participant. That's the word I was looking for, as he has been flying all game as we see John Francis get another 2 points. As here's Mayberry going inside, and he gets an and 1 as it is back down to a 1 or 3, make it 2-point game for the Blaze. John Francis inside again as Alabaster continues to have absolutely no chance as it is now a 4-point lead. How about this dunk from Baker? He goes right around the little man inside and gets the ball away from Francis so he couldn't block it on the dunk as Dambrauskas puts in another one. B.J. Riley again in the mid-range. He's driving as he tried to put a floater up and over the big man. What a horrible decision. As here's the next Skyliners possession, and they hit a 3 off of that block. 5-point lead now in the third for the Skyliners. Here's a steal from, I don't remember what this guy's name is, but he goes up and throws it down. I think that's Westerman. I think that's his name. There's now Skyliners again up 8 now. As here's an and 1. As that Solomon puts him up 11. A huge and 1 there from Solomon. As they whip it out to Alabaster here for the Blaze. As he hits the 3, and that puts it back down to 4 with 55 seconds to go in the third. Here's another 3 from the Blaze as they are shooting really well here in the third and digging into this lead. Duhan again here for 3 before the end of the quarter. And it is a 6-point lead for the Skyliners. 6:30 left in the fourth. Here's B.J. Riley in the mid-range. He gets another one to fall, puts it down to 4. Now it's back up to 6, and John Francis continues to go to work inside. 8-point game now. Here's Riley inside. Finger roll with the right hand. Gets it to fall. 6-point game. John Francis now goes at the rim. Look at the big man drive. And he gets the and 1. Hits the free throw. 9-point game, Skyliners. Here's B.J. Riley going at the rim, mid-range, gets it to fall, trying to will his team back into this one as the Blaze are definitely down but not out. As here's some good passing, they whip it around, and it's a 3 as that puts it down to a 4-point game. As how about this pass inside to Francis, who just continues to dominate these Arizona bigs as Dambrauskas gets found, and he punches one home for now a 10-point game again. Here's Johnson for 3, he hits it, and it's back down to 7. As now a minute 38. Skyliners need a bucket as John Francis gets a block. Skyliners Blaze next possession. Riley goes to Pitsnoggle, blocked by Francis and blocked again. As it is, they just cannot score. Here's Riley with 12 seconds left. He hits the 3. So now a 4-point game, but they would not be able to. They had to foul, and New York gets the free throws to go, and it will end up being a 7-point win for the Blaze. So here we are checking out some box scores for this week in January. The Bulldogs went to the Townhawks and defeated them by 5 in Oakland as the Takashiki led the way for the Townhawks at 20. We see Xander Myers down here with a 10-point, 12-rebound double-double. I mean, if you're 5 for 6, why not shoot the ball a couple more times? For the Bulldogs, Trent Beretta led the way with 33 points, 13 rebounds, a nice game from him. DJ Jelly Harper with 23, Massenberg with a double-double as well, and Van Exel was down here with a double-double, as Armstrong only went 1 for 5. You got to do better, Armstrong, especially in those tight games. The Cougars went to the Huskies and defeated them by 1, as that's a tough home loss for the Huskies, as we see Bradley led the way for the Huskies with 20 points, 9 rebounds, nice game from him. Justice down here with 17 as well. For the Cougars, Akibono Shank, 32 points, 13 rebounds, really nice game from him, as they continue to seem to get better down the stretch. The game we just saw, the Skyliners ended up beating the Wolfpack earlier in the week by 32, as that is a rough L for the Wolfpack. Jean Francis had 29 points, 18 rebounds. Richards with 25 as well for the Skyliners. For the Wolfpack, Alan Smith led the way with 23 points, 10 rebounds. Not a bad game from him, but they still did get blown out. The Cobras went to Arizona and defeated the Blaze earlier in the week by 16. B.J. Riley had 29 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and Pitt Snuggle down here with his double-double, but it was nowhere near enough to give them the win as they did lose by 16. Evan Stone had 38, and Kane and Dyson both with some 20-point games. As for the Brigade, they went to Sacramento and took a 1-point L to the Sting. The Sting won behind Lions 26 and Villas 23, as we see Brian Williams is down there with 9 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. For the Brigade, Woodard led the way with 18 points, 12 rebounds. Maravich was 16 and 15 assists. Nice game from him. DeJuan Jones had 16, but it was not enough to get them the W. Going into the 22nd, the Pandas went to Miami to face the Flamingos and took a 7-point L, as Jordan put in 36 for the Flamingos. Achille Antonov had a season low of 12, but still had 16 rebounds and assists, a nice triple-double. For the Pandas, Midas Khan led the way, 25 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. Newman with 21 as well, but it did not get them the W. The Brigade went on to beat the Pioneers in Portland. A nice game from them. R.J. Miller led the way for the Pioneers, 23 points. Cade Cunningham with 18, and Spears with 13 and 13, a nice double-double. For the Brigade, McKenneth led the way with 18, Jones with 17, and then Baldwin, Woodard, and Manning all had 15 or 16. Nice group effort from the Brigade. Going into the 23rd in the game we just saw, Skyliners end up winning this one by 12. Jean Francis had 27 points, 24 rebounds. Duhan with 22 as well, as B.J. Riley only put in 23, Alabaster with 21, and Pitt Snuggle down there with 12 and 20. The Cougars defended home court against the Hilltoppers as they defeated them by 2. Adams only had 17 points along with Cambridge and Kabar Kappa, I keep forgetting how to say his name, and Snow both put in 16 as well. Akibono Sheng with only 8 points, 1 for 8 from the field, and 21 rebounds. Not his best game, but they still got the win nonetheless. Holland Korn put in 29 points, Parker Puff with 25 and 14, and then Sullivan with 14 and 14. Some nice games for them, but they did not get the W. The Goblins went to Chicago to face the Enforcers and took a 6-point L as Morris led the way yet again for the Enforcers, 28 points, 11 rebounds. Mostly McAfee had 21 points, and then Will Trust down here with just 15. Not a great game from him, but not his worst game ever. Wade Cage led the way for the Goblins with 24 points, 13 rebounds. A nice game from him. Jameson had 18 as well. Like it was not enough to get them the W. The Knights went to the Bulldogs and took a 16-point L in Cincinnati as Trent Barreto led the way for the Bulldogs, 22 points, 13 rebounds. DJ Jelly Harper with 21, along with Massenberg, as we see Chuck Armstrong down here with 11 points, 13 rebounds. Heinsohn led the way for the Knights with 27 points, only 5 rebounds, not enough to get them the W. Martinez was their next leading scorer with 14. Next for the Cobras, they went to the Town Hawks in Oakland and beat them by 22 as the Town Hawks continue to be right there at the bottom of the league. Somerton led the way for them with 22 points. Xander Myers had 12 and 14 with 9 assists, almost a triple-double, but nowhere near the kind of production we want to see from him. As we see Evan Stone put in 33, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists, and Dyson put in 30, so 2 30-point games for the Cobras, and it was more than enough to get them the W. Next for the Legends, they went to the Moose and got blown out as Benningfield was back in the starting lineup for this one. He put in 21 points. Gilbert had 16 and 13, and Hamlet had 16 as well as they pick up the W. For the Legends, Taylor led the way with just 15 points. George had 13 and 23. That is not enough guys in double figures for the Legends as they didn't even score 80 points. We had a lot of games today. As next, the Predators went to the Pandas, and they took a hard L. As Majaba led the way for the Pandas with 21 points, and Domerkant had 21 as well. Midas Khan with 20, as he had 7 rebounds and assists, as their big games are more than enough to get them the W. O'Gallagher Jr. led the way for the Predators, 20 points. Kevin Ball and Dandridge both with 18, as they lost. The Goblins went to Detroit after their most recent loss and defeated the Titans, as Doug White put in 23 points, 19 rebounds, and Manchungwana put in 22 as well, but they would take the L in this one. As we see, Jameson had 27 points and 20 rebounds, and then Whitney had 22 and 11 as well. So some nice games from the Goblins, as you see Wade Cage had 11 and 18 to go with those other 2 big games. The Sharks went to the Royals and took a 17-point L, as leading the way for the Royals was Kenny Dimes with a 23-point, 15 rebound, 14 assist, triple-double. Rich Mack behind him with 20 and 13. Some nice games from both of them. They are definitely the 2 stars in Anaheim. As Ellis Jr. led the way for the Sharks with 24. Quentin Pope behind him with just 15, as Pope has not been the good scorer that we wanted him to be all year. The Blaze went to the Wolfpack after taking the loss to the Skyliners and lost to the Wolfpack in Milwaukee by 12. Alan Smith led the way for the Wolfpack, 25 points, 10 rebounds. Nice game from him. Cartwright down here with a double-double as well. As we see for the Blaze, B.J. Riley, 31 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, but just not enough to get it done for his team. Pittsnockle down here with 7 and 13, and Copeland had 14, but not enough production outside of Riley. The Cobras went to San Diego and took an L to the Sharks, as Gildreth Butler put in 21, Anderson with 20, and Zogado with 17, and Ellis Jr. had a double-double as well, along with Pope down here with 13, so a really good team effort from the Sharks. As we see for the Cobras, Evan Stone put in a 40-point game with 13 rebounds and 7 assists, and Dyson put in 30 as well. So not really sure how they lost this game. Maybe just not enough effort from these guys down here. As after that, the Royals go to Portland and play the Pioneers, and the Royals get yet another win. The Pioneers were led by Douglas and Cunningham. It was not enough to get them the win. Spears was 17 and 13. For the Royals, Weber with 25, Kenny Dimes with 20 and 13. A nice game from him as they got the win. For the Wolfpack in this game, Alan Smith had 29 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists, but he was pretty much their only big-time performer, and it was not enough to get them the win as they lost to Wade Cage and the Goblins by 11. Wade Cage with 25 points and Red behind him with 20. The White Whales are still looking to bounce back. They were like 12 and 5. Now they're 12 and 10 as they lose to the heavily struggling Apollos by 20 points. Brown led the way for the Apollos, 26 points. Oakley had 19 and 14, and Appling Hall had 20, so some nice games from them. For the White Whales, Jones led the way with 25, Del Negro with 18, and Emboyd down here with 15 and 9. As that is all for Week 3 box scores. We will head right into our, hold on, whoops, I always forget that we need to check our Player of the Week. So our Player of the Week this week was John Francis for the East and Kenny Dimes for the West. It's looking like the Royals have taken home quite a few Player of the Weeks this year. So now we will head into our Week 4 game. Our fourth and final game of the month will be between the visiting, Dallas Wranglers. Whoops, I couldn't remember what city in Texas they were, against the New Orleans Pandas, as the Wranglers will open it up with a three-pointer. As here's Kahn inside, hitting a nice hook shot over Lamar Shelton. 7-6 now. Lamar Shelton puts it into Lambert, who throws it down on a ferocious two-handed jam as he puts the lead back up to 3. As here's Lambert again, punching one home. Maybe another dunk contest hopeful. As here's Kahn hitting a nice left-handed floater. Look at the acrobatics on that one. As there's a 3 from Lord knows how to say his name, and I sure don't. As we broke out the custom uniforms for this game, as here's a 3, no good. Witherspoon gets the rebound, goes to Outlaw, and he hits the 3. As this is another really good shooting team in Dallas. As how about that block? Big time block from 32 is on the. They got their own rebound, and Houston goes up and catches the lob. 9-point game now. Here's Outlaw putting another one in. He is always a threat when Shelton's not on his game, and even when they both are, it is a huge advantage for their team. As here's Shelton getting called for a flagrant, as there's a 3-point play off the flagrant foul, and then on the same possession, since they get to keep the ball, Kahn hits a jumper. So that is a 5-point possession for the Pandas. As here's Outlaw hitting another mid-range fadeaway. He's been money from those all season. As here's Kahn getting found on the inside for a slam. It's a 2-point game. Outlaw again goes in, crosses him up, throws it up with the left hand and gets it to fall. That was Kobe Bryant-esque. As how about that turnover? That might be the worst turnover we've seen of the year, as it leads to this ferocious jam from the Wranglers. Already into the third quarter. Here's Kahn throwing one down with 2 hands. He can fly. It is now just a 1-point game. Shelton going in. Little pull-up jumper in the mid-range gets it to fall. 1-point game now. Pandas need some points as they go into Kahn and take the lead right before the end of the third. 1-point lead now for the Pandas as Shelton drives around his man and puts it up with the left hand. 5-point lead now for the Wranglers as White gets the and-1 call, and he will hit the free throw. It is an 8-point game. Here's Shelton coming the other way. Goes down the lane, and he gets fouled by Kahn, and it's an and-1 for him as well as he missed the free throw. Is now into Witherspoon, another and-1. And Witherspoon hits the free throw, so 3 straight and-1s give the Wranglers a 13-point lead, as here's an and-1 on the other end for the Pandas, as he would miss the free throw as well. That's Alexander Walker, who finds Kahn on the inside, and he gets, guess what, another and-1. Back down to a 5-point game. Almost everybody on these and-1s missed their free throws, as there's Shelton putting one in with 7 seconds left, or put a 7-point lead, whoops, as there's Kahn to make it 5. Kahn again way too open on the inside as he dunks one with less than a minute left to make it a 3-point game. Outlaw goes in, pumps, fakes the pass, goes up, and somehow puts it in traffic to make it a 5-point game. Here's Kahn whipping it outside Alexander Walker. Back down to 2 with 30 seconds to go. Now with 20 seconds, Pandas need a stop as that one goes in from Outlaw. And it is a 4-point game. Domerkamp for 3. Needs it. No good, and they will have to foul. So with 10 seconds left, Shelton was sent to the line, and he would hit both. Here's Domerkamp at the end of the game. He can't hit it. Witherspoon with a rebound, and the Dallas Wranglers will get a 6-point W in New Orleans. So here we are checking out some box scores for this last week in January. The first game, the Hustlers went to the Wranglers and got absolutely destroyed. 41-point win for the Wranglers. Lamar Shelton put in 34 points, 19 rebounds, 13 assists. An absolute monster game for him as he leads his team to the victory with a triple-double. Lamar Outlaw with 28 and Porter with 23. Big-time games from them. Abdul-Wahad led the way for the Hustlers with just 18. Hamilton 17. Natchbar only had 9, and Duncan only had 8 with 20 rebounds. The Cobras went to the Buzz and lost by 40 as well, as they get hammered in this one. DeAndre Johnson pours in 34 along with Wagner's 33. Willingham had a nice double-double down here, and that gets them the W. The Cobras could not win. Dyson put in 22, and Evan Stone had a double-double with 12 and 13, but they do take a loss here. On the 28th, the Predators went to the Flamingos and took a 26-point L. That is not what you want to see if you're a Predators fan. Achille Antonov led the way for the Flamingos with 42, 9, and 17. Another huge game for him. Stackhouse and Cauley Stein tacked on 24 and 22. Nice games from both of them. As O'Gallagher Jr. led the way again for the Predators with 18, 16, and 16 for Dandridge and Snyder. And Kevin Ball had a nice 15-point, 15-assist double-double, along with Irvin's double-double down there, 10 points, 10 rebounds. But like I said, they did lose. The Huskies could not defend home court behind Owen Bradley's 22 points and Boomshe's double-double as they lose to the Arizona Blaze behind B.J. Riley's 20 points and Johnson and Pittsnoggle's 16 and 15. So a nice win for the Blaze there on the road. Going into the 29th, the Predators go to the Hilltoppers, who have been struggling big time, and get a W in Boston. As Holland Corrin led the way for the Hilltoppers with 30 points. Parker Puff with 24, 11, and 7. Nothing we're not used to seeing from him, but it was not enough to get them the win. As Dandridge put in 29 for the Predators, O'Gallagher Jr. with 25, and Kevin Ball with yet another 15-point, 15-assist game, as Walker Kimbrough had a nice double-double with 12 and 11. And for the second game on the day, the Pandas beat the Knights by 19, as Domerkamp led the way for the Pandas with 18 points. Alexander Locker had a 15-point, 16-rebound double-double, and Midas Khan had a 14-point, 13-assist double-double, and Houston had a double-double as well. So lots of double-doubles for the Pandas, and they do get the win. The Knights, Bohannon led the way with 21, Ivan Heinzen with 15 and 11. That was pretty much all that they had. Going into the 30th, the Pioneers defeat the Sharks by 8 in San Diego, as Zagato had 20 and 11, a nice game from him, as Tatum had a double-double down here as well, just 16 from Quentin Pope, as they do take the L. Brian Shaw, I think that's his name. Nope, Billy Shaw, my bad, led the way for the Pioneers, 22 points, 12 rebounds. Denzel Spears down here with 13, a nice game from him, and Krejci had a nice double-double with 10 and 10, as they pick up the W. The Titans defeat the White Whales, who have not seen the win column in quite a few, as Del Negro led the way for the White Whales in their losing effort, 21 points. Boyd had 15, 5, and 5, and then Hefflinger down here had 8 and 9 as he's struggled big time in this losing streak. Moncrief led the way for the Titans with 22 points. Doug White 21 and 13. Figueroa 20 and 12. Some nice games from them as they pick up their 7th win on the year. The Moose go to the struggling Wolfpack and could not find a W in Milwaukee as they lose this one behind Shackelford's 20 points, Alan Smith's 20 points, and 10 rebounds. Cartwright had 18 and 16, and that was enough to get the Wolfpack the W, as Farmer has a career-high 31 and 14 rebounds. Nice game from him. Gilbert had 19, and Hanlon had 14, but it was obviously not enough to get them the win. Going into the last day of January, the Sting went to Oakland and fall to the Townhawks as the Townhawks pick up just their 4th win on the season. Takashiki led the way for the Townhawks with 23 points. Xander Myers down here with 10 and 11. We still want to see more production out of our man Xander. For the Sting, Brian Williams, 17 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. Nice game from him. Villa with 15 and 9, and Lions with 11 and 10. But they do fall, only scoring 83 points. Next, for the game we just saw, the Wranglers end up taking this one by 10, as Midas Khan led the way for the Pandas with 36 points, but it was not enough to get them the W. Alexander Walker with 20 and 10, and Houston with 13 and 12. As for the Wranglers, Lamar Shelton with 27, 11, and 12, 5 blocks and 5 steals. A huge game from him. Outlaw poured in 27 as well, along as Vodopot. Not even close. 26 points for him. Not even going to try that. I'm surprised I even tried the first time. As now we go to Goblins Pioneers. The Goblins go to Portland and pick up a big W. As for the Pioneers, Douglas led the way with 18, Shaw with 16, Miller with 15, and then we see Spears down here with just 7 points, 7 assists, and 13 rebounds. He was 3 for 13 from the field, not what you want to see. Red led the way for the Goblins in the winning effort, 23 points. Jamison was 16 and 22, a nice game from him, and Wade Cage had 15 and 13. Into February now as the Bulldogs took a hard L at Miami, losing by 18. They are now 8-8. The Flamingos now 9-8. As Kanye Jordan led the way for the Flamingos with 38 points, but Achille Antonov was definitely their best player with a 36-point, 15 rebounds, 17 assists, triple-double. Huge games from both of those guys to pick up the win. Trent Beretta led the way for the Bulldogs, so he had 26 points, 11 rebounds. Chuck Armstrong with 19. Massenberg with 19 and 13 as well. As we go into the next game, the Royals go to Memphis and defeat the Knights by 20. The Royals with one of the best records in the league at 10-5. Zigoranovic led the way for the Knights with 22. Baxter behind him with 21. Heinsohn just had 11 and 8 and no blocks for the big man. For the Royals, Rich Mack continues to tear it up as he puts in 34 and Kenny Dimes puts in 24, 7 and 7. They've been a two-man wrecking crew all year. As Van Breda Kolf had a 11 and 11 double-double as well. As we go into our last day of the week, as the Predators went to the Moose and fell. As Farmer led the way with 23, Love with 22 as well, Banks with a 21, 10 assists, double-double, and Gilbert had 17 and 10, a double-double for him as well. So it's a very nice team effort from the Moose. As Snyder led the way for the Predators with 21 points, Danger with 18, Kevin Ball with 16 and 13, and it was not enough to get them the win. Going into the next game, the Wranglers went to Indianapolis and fell to the Shift by 8 as the Shift had been hot all year. Coleman led the way with 20, behind him was Long with 18 and 11. As Cousins and Whiting Raymond both had double-doubles down here, and Foster poured in 15 as well. Big-time game from the whole Shift roster. As Witherspoon led the way for the Wranglers with 24, Outlaw with 23, and Lamar Shelton with 19, 8, and 13. Kind of a big game from him, but we are used to seeing better. The Cougars went to Portland and barely took an L in overtime as they lose this one 120-121. For the Pioneers, Hickson led the way with 22. Billy Shaw, messed that up twice now, had 19 points and 10 rebounds. A nice game from him. As we see that Spears is still struggling offensively, just 6 points, 2 for 12, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. He's getting a lot of boards, but not too many points, which is not what you really want to see. For the Cougars, Akibono Shane continues to lead the way as he had 23 points, 16 rebounds. Nice game from him. And Carvacho had 18 as well, but they did lose. Next, the Skyliners went to Sacramento to play the Sting. They went all the way across the United States and took an L by 12 as Villa led the way for the Sting with 29 points, Quigley with 18 and 10, Brian Williams with 18 and 14. A nice game from him, and Lyons had 18 and 17. Lots of double-doubles there for the Sting. As Jean Francis led the way for the Skyliners with 25 points, 12 rebounds. Nice game from him. Dambrauskas had 16 and Davis had 15, but they did lose. Nothing we're not used to seeing there from the Skyliners. The Royals went to the Wolfpack for our last game of January and won in overtime by 3. Shackelford led the way for the Wolfpack with 30 points, Alan Smith with 24, and Funderburg with 16. Cartwright also had a double-double. Kenny Dimes with a triple-double, but it was not enough to get his team the win, or it was enough to get his team the win. Forgot which team had won there for a second. Kenny Dimes, 31 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Rich Mack with 27, and Weber with 16. That Mack and Dimes duo has been deadly all year. So next we will have this little stretch of games here. We will have three weeks of action and then the All-Star game. In the next video, we will see how the All-Star draft turned out, and we will see these 3 weeks of action right before the All-Star game. So let me know who all you guys want to see next week, as we will take a quick look at the season awards. The player of the week for this last week in January was Achille Antonov and Lamar Shelton, both for their respective conferences. And the player of the month was Jean Francis. He finally took the crown away from Achille Antonov in the East as he wins for January, and Kenny Dimes wins for the West. As for the Western Conference Rookie of the Month, Rich Mack wins his second Western Conference Rookie of the Month, and Stephen Morris wins his first for the East. As that will do it for January highlights of the BSGL. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more of the league. Don't forget to submit a prospect. The first 50 that are submitted will be in the draft and will probably, well, not probably, will get drafted. But yeah, let me know what teams you guys want to see next week and how excited you are for the All-Star game. See all you guys next time. Bye-bye.